On this episode of Women You Should Know, we feature a very special woman. She's none other than Wanjiku Mutinda. She's the CEO and founder and engineering director at EcoCycle Limited. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Queenie.
How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
Now, before you give us your introduction, I know that you speak 6 languages, so I want you to use this chance to just say hi to everyone in the 6 languages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mweseo, murega, vigetes, bonjour, mko salama. Yes.
I guess that's Kamba,
Kikuyu, French, German, and Swahili, of course.
Swahili.
Yes.
I feel like that is quite a unique mix for a mechanical engineer who also has acquired skills, soft skills, especially in the arts. What prompted that, that move?
Okay, so naturally, I love arts. Apart from languages, I love music, I love dancing, apart from the sciences and engineering.
Yes.
So from way back when we were born, my mother was Kikuyu, my dad was Kamba, so we were always mixed between 2 groups, and so we sort of had to learn both languages. And then as I went ahead to high school, I came across French, which was interesting, and I decided to choose it because I don't know, I think I was dreaming one day I'll be in Paris, so I thought it's good enough. Then later, after working, I went for further training in Germany, where it was mandatory requirement that you spend the first 6 months learning the German language. So that's the story of my many languages.
Wow.
And Kiswahili, of course, is our national
language.
Yeah.
Now, Engineer Lucy,
Yes.
Based on the research that I did on you, I know that your mom specifically did not want you to be an engineer. She wanted you to follow a different career trail path, which is in medicine.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So at what point did you make up your mind? And was there any event that triggered that decision?
Okay, so about my mom, maybe that she did not want me not to do engineering, but perhaps what she knew best was being a doctor, and maybe coming from my late dad, because my dad passed on when I was 12 years, so at the point of selecting the courses, he was not there. But I think my mom wanted my dad's legacy of being a doctor to live on through me. And when we were doing the choices, I remember her insisting on being a doctor, medicine.
Yeah.
So I put it as the first choice, but all the other choices I put engineering, and in the different universities. And when the time came, I got an A-. Good for me, but I think my mom wanted it to be an A. She would have almost told me to go back so that I get the AA. Yeah. Then I was called for engineering, and for me, I was very happy, and she did not object it, and we were all happy about it. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you know, Lucy, when I was growing up,
yes,
and I think this is the first time I'm saying this on live television, I wanted to be an engineer.
Wow.
Yes, so much that I remember my father was an avid reader. He would bring us books home, so we had that family where you walk in and there's a bookshelf.
Wow.
Now we had specific books, especially my dad was very big on language and grammar. Probably that is what influenced my career choice.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I remember in my books, I decided to brand them. I used to call myself Engineer Quinta.
It's still not too late.
And I know, but maybe this is, if people who know me know that somehow it's spanned out differently.
Yeah.
I became an engineer by association, but that is a story for another day.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. Now, talking of engineers, what's in a name? I mean, we have seen men who are engineers, men who are doctors versus women who are also in the same profession.
Yes.
But it is almost automatic that any man who is probably a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, more often than not, people don't even recognize them by their first name. It's so automatic, like they walk into a meeting and everybody's saying, hi, engineer.
Yes.
But I wouldn't quite say the same for women.
Yes.
I don't know whether it is just some sort of perception or discrimination. What has been your experience when you walk into meetings? Are you referred to as Engineer Lucy, or people bring in the engineering tag as an afterthought? And probably how does that make you feel?
So rightfully so. Maybe we can first say it stems from the old school time stereotype. maybe where women are supposed to be submissive and, you know, silent about their achievements. So perhaps way back with history, women were not coming out strongly, bringing out their titles and their capabilities or their qualifications. But I must say, perhaps in the recent years, we are learning how to do it. Like for myself, from the time I got the title, I have it everywhere on my social media. I have it on my email signature. And when I walk into meetings, actually they will refer to me as engineer. But before then, before I got the title, maybe when I was starting on my career, I would go to site meetings and perhaps someone is still asking, where is the engineer from your office? But here I am, I'm the engineer that has been sent to represent our company on site. So it's something that we have to deliberately work on and all genders to accept that both the ladies and the men actually can own the title and have the skill. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure there are many young girls who are now watching right now and wondering, oh, she's a woman, she's youthful, she's calling the shots, she's a CEO of her own organization, she's a business owner. How did this journey start? Where did you start from?
Okay, so my business, as you rightfully said, is called EcoCycle Limited, and it has the eco tag because it's something to do with eco-friendliness and going green. So I grew up in the village, actually. I only came to the city after university. So I grew up around trees, around green grass. In Ukambani, it's dry, but my mother, I remember every time we washed utensils, she would insist that we pour the water on the plant. So we had quite a number of trees in our compound. Now, coming to the city to look for a job, which was the norm many years back, like you graduate, you come to the city, I was not impressed with having to go over sewer lines, open sewer lines, to go to make my applications, go around looking for work. And that thing bothered me, and then I would tell myself, I've just come from university with engineering knowledge, perhaps I should be among the people that will come up with a solution for this. And not after long enough, I managed to get a scholarship to go to Germany, like after 3 to 4 years of working post-university. And while in Germany, I came across the idea. I saw that they were recycling in parks, that sewer would be turned back to clean water that flows in the city or just goes back to the environment safely. And this inspired me to actually look for that solution and maybe when I come back, set it up as a business. So that's the story of my inspiration, and it came to actualize in 2014.
Would you say that these opportunities that came your way, you looked for them? Or did they just come your way by accident? Because the reason I'm asking this is more often than not, women are laid back. And because of the way we are wired, many of us are not aggressive enough probably to look for opportunities. We feel like maybe we are not good enough or we are not qualified enough. How was your story? Did you work hard for these positions?
So the truth is you have to look for it, you have to be ready for it, because I think luck is for those people who come across opportunities and they're already prepared. So even as I was growing up, I remember, because my dad, through albums and wherever he had been around the world, would go through the albums, and I remember he used to have magazines from America, from Germany. And in myself, I would tell myself, one day I have to be in these countries, either going for further knowledge like my dad, or just going to further my experience. So I always had this dream since I was a kid. So I'm trying to tell you that you always have to dream about it and go for it. And I would tell my mom that one time I hope to go and further my studies. But then she would always wonder about the resources, because there were limited resources. So I was always out on the internet. And those days, internet was not like on our phones or everywhere we have. We used to go to was it called Norwich Towers? Along my avenue. I was always there Googling about scholarships. And I had tried for those 4 years ever since I came from university, and then just came this opportunity and I was ready for it. I made the application and I got it. And since doing the first German training, any other application that I look for, I sort of get it, because I've had almost now like 5 trainings in different countries. So it's a matter of being prepared, having the dream, having the mindset, and always putting work to it. Perhaps there are people who things come to them, but for me it's been constant searching, constant yearning to the next level. But again, you do not be greedy to want everything, but just going for the next thing that inspires you to become the better you that you want to be.
So you were recently appointed to serve, I'm going to read that, on the board of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations as a member of the Committee on Governance and Ethics. Wow, you are a woman, young. How does that make you feel?
It's exciting, and it comes with a big responsibility, because I'm voicing the engineer's voice at a continental level. And the fact that it touches on governance and ethics, which is a big thing about integrity, I'm happy to do it, because I'm always big on integrity. In every operations that we are doing, that we put integrity first. So for me, it's an exciting opportunity to voice the African engineer voice and try to form ourselves to good governance and ethics.
Wow.
Yes.
But that's not the first appointment you have. I know you wear so many hats. Probably you could just highlight that as well.
Yeah, so the other exciting one was during COVID in 2020. As engineers, we had our annual elections, our biannual elections. It was actually digital amidst COVID. So I was elected as the first vice president of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya.
Wow.
Perhaps one of the very young ones.
Wow.
And it was just before I turned 40. So it's one of those achievements you feel good that you've achieved. And again, the biggest win for me was that we won over 50% ladies. And most of us are young.
In Kenya?
Yes, we were 50% of
Nice.
women elected in the IEK. Nice. And the biggest win is that we've, I think, inspired the next generation of the young lady engineers, and even ladies in general, that they need to come up and that they can actually lead.
You couldn't have said it better.
Yes, yes.
Anything else that you do, Engineer Lucy? I know,
So,
I know you from way back.
Yeah, so that
Yes.
is with my professionalism and
Yes.
current. So maybe if I go way back, I went to Moi University where I studied engineering. And then since university, I have worked in automotive like GM, DT Dobby, Toyota. So I had a stint in automotive, but I always had this burning in me to sort of use my engineering in environmental conservation. So I ended up getting a scholarship for international leadership and project management in Germany that I went back in 2008 to 2010. So there I spent my time, got very good skills on project management, leadership, the German style, which is very efficient. Nice. And since then, I've also done other scholarships and fellowships like Women in STEM. It's called Tech Women in the US. It's for women doing science, technology, engineering, and math. So you're taken to the US and exposed to the Silicon Valley, to all the new technology, and get more inspiration. I've also been to Sweden on a scholarship on again, sustainability and responsible leadership, because I want to be a responsible leader, not anywhere associated with corruption, because I know it's the biggest disease that we have. So again, I'm also a fellow of SIMP Swedish Institute. And lately, just before Corona in 2019, I was in Boston at Babson College, which is called a Launch and Grow Program for Women Kenya Entrepreneurs. So that's my learning and my current professional. And of course, I am the founder and engineering director at EcoCycle, a company that has been running for the last 6 years.
Wow.
We install machines that turn sewage back to clean water in your compound, and you can reuse it to water your lawns, and so we protect the environment.
That's a lot.
Yes.
And you're well traveled.
Yes.
And I know one thing you won't say is that in 2018 you were part of the top 40 and top 40 under 40.
Top 40 under 40
Yes.
Business Daily. Yeah, I was one of the nominees for EcoCycle and all the work that
you're
I
doing.
have done. Yeah, yeah.
Now, Lucy, one of the biggest challenges that especially women in business encounter is balancing leading a perfect life. Okay, they want to be super women. They want to be perfect at the workplace. They want to be perfect with their families. Do you think, does it exist, this sort of perfection? Does it exist? Or is it possible for a woman to have it all together? Or is it a fairy tale? Is it a fallacy?
Okay, so we are all human.
Yes.
And humans are not 100% perfect. And perhaps that's where our other gender has perfected to master. As women, we are trying to be super human beings, to be perfect in everything, but remember, we are not perfect. So for you to appear like a superwoman, you need to have a support system. This support system stems from your home. By the way, our home, families are the basic unit of society, and if you need to hold it together there for you to be able now to focus on everything else well. So at home, you need the support of your partners. Some people we need to really highly appreciate in Africa are our house managers.
Yes.
They are very key people, especially for us women. So you get a house manager that you train very well, and she can support you as you work on the core things. But that does not mean we forget our responsibilities at home. So it's a matter of planning yourself. If it's your day of cooking, you have a side project to go to, you still balance it together. And then we have professional colleagues, we have friends, you have your colleagues at work that you can ask to take care of some of your projects. So it's not really, we are not superhuman beings, but you master the art of the support system and your network so that you are able to perform what you're supposed to do and even exceed.
When you were growing up, you said you grew up in the village.
Yes.
If somebody gave you an opportunity to talk to, say, your 18, 19, 20-year-old, you know, vibrant, raring, you've just come from high school, you've scored so well, and you're just joining campus, or you just, for some of them, they're already in the job market. What would you tell your younger self as Engineer Lucy?
Yes. When we were growing up, I think we sort of thought some things are meant for men. And maybe in the village, I was also having that thing. It is only that it changed as I progressed higher.
Yeah.
But right now, a young girl who is growing, I would like them to just treat all opportunities as equal. And I would tell myself that all opportunities are for all. It all depends on your knowledge, your dreams, and your ability to just learn and adapt and be able to do it. There could be those things that physically by creation we may not be able to do, but there is always around it, especially with digitization and all automations that we have now. Most of the executions will not matter which gender you come from. So to my younger self would be that all opportunities are for all of us. Go for what you dream for and what you have passion for. And the one thing I like talking about passion, and I repeat it a lot, is that passion creates comfort. So if you're passionate about something, and even if a room is full of men and I'm passionate about the wastewater recycling that I do, and I have the knowledge, when I walk into that room, my passion will drive me to speak and convince the men, and they will be able to execute that project with me as the expert or the person giving directions.
Interesting. Passion creates
comfort in discomfort.
Yes, so I think that should be tweeted. Somebody should be able to tweet that. That's really powerful. So probably, what are some of the top 3 tips that you can give a woman who's watching this and getting inspired and hoping that they can apply those skills to improve their lives? What can women do?
Yes. Before I get to the top 3 things, I want to appreciate and encourage everyone that struggling, I don't know if anybody ever started a business and never struggled. So first of all, struggling is part of the game. So you should not get discouraged because you set up a business today and you're struggling. So be it financially, be it getting your first customer. I'll tell you, when I set up EcoCycle the first 2 months, I spent the time, I printed flyers, and I would just drive around construction site, and I wouldn't even look like I was the founder of the company. So you sort of struggle by getting yourself to get down into the job and set up your first 3 projects, get your first 3 pilots, and then from then on you will get referrals and do an excellent job, because an excellent job sells itself. Now, going to the 3 tips, I like to tell people, I think a lot of times you wait to amass capital in terms of millions and billions or something to set up the business. But I want to say that when I started my business, I didn't quite have a lot of money with me, but what I had with me was knowledge, expertise, and a very good network. So your network can be your capital to start your business. How do I say this? Let's say today I want to start a clothing business. The first people I will call probably are my friends or the people on my Facebook. And so even without capital, I could ask them to like make a down payment so that I can get the first consignment, and you get going with that first profit, you start growing. So we need to release ourselves from the bondage of that you need to have a lot of capital, but just work on your network. Have a network that could build your business. So network is one thing. Secondly, excellence. When you start doing what you're doing, be very efficient and excellent, because a well-executed job is a marketing billboard. So if you do a good job, people will talk about you, and you'll get the next client, you'll get the next client, and it will keep growing. The other thing that perhaps as Africans we don't do so well is when you're building your company, you need to build your team and have a team that you really inspire, because I think a lot of times you will start a company and then you want to be everything. And sometimes I think people even go to the extent of not even giving proper information or training your team, because perhaps you're scared they will leave you and go start their own thing. So you need to select a team and really empower them and develop them and let them represent you, because you cannot be everywhere. So those would be my first three tips. Your network.
Yes.
I didn't say finance anywhere, but your network can be your source of finance.
Yes.
Excellence, because your excellent work is your
billboard. I remember that very well, because I hope this one is also going to be turned into a tweet. And a well-executed job is your marketing billboard.
Yes.
That one also needs to be tweeted.
Yes, and then thirdly, team. Have a team, and not just a team, an empowered team that you really inspire and motivate and train them to execute your work. If they go out and start their own companies, if you really had a good relationship, they're still your marketers. They will refer you to the projects that they've moved on to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is Engineer Lucy Mutinda giving us tips on how women can remain afloat, especially in business. Before we let her go, you know, Lucy is a well-balanced woman. So apart from work, family, she's also an health and fitness enthusiast. I know this because I follow her on social media. I don't stalk you, I follow you.
Interesting.
Yeah, so recently there's been a lot of debate about women and their bodies, and whether it's okay to add weight, whether it's okay to look thin. So as a woman who has done it, as a woman who has done it, I remember we were having that debate. Have you done it, or have you gotten there? As a woman who has done it,
I'm passionately doing it. As a woman who is passionately
doing it and enjoying it.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this debate? Do you think it is right for people to set for you standards of beauty, or your weight, or how you look, your skin? Do you think it's right?
I really don't think it's right to have people body shaming anyone, because we were all created by God, and the Bible says we are all created in the image of God. So however we are created, it's the image of God, and all we need to do is preserve it. That said, I want to encourage women to be comfortable in that vessel that they find themselves in, that God bestowed in them. And it also happens that when we get children and we get to the reproductive age, some changes also come up. So we need to be very comfortable and embrace it. The best thing is to be comfortable with what you have without being defined that a size this, a size this is the right thing to do. Unless it poses to you a health risk, and then the doctor tells you you need to lose some weight because for the health benefit, then so be it. But that said, I also encourage, I find why I love fitness, and not that I'm the size 8, but I'm very much into fitness. I find it as a relaxing and venting. After all these things are said and done, you have the family, you have your work, you have all these things that you have to attend to. I have found fitness to be a relaxing moment and giving attention to myself. Keep away the phones, halt everything a bit, and just look after yourself. Not necessarily to lose the weight, but just to feel comfortable and feel good about yourself in whatever body vessel you're in. But for the people that would like to body shame, I would say it's really a bad thing, because as we do it on national TV, we are also telling our children to go down in schools and body shame the rest, yet we are all created the way God liked it. And so it's up to someone to appreciate and be comfortable with what you are. Of course, if it poses a health risk, look into it. But fitness is a good thing to look after, because it keeps you mentally well-being and alert and ready for the next day.
Engineer Lucy, in this digital space that we have thankfully found ourselves in, without a digital footprint, it's like you don't exist. So where would we find more about the kind of work that you do? You can just face the camera and tell people what you do and where they can find you.
Yeah, so we exist in a digital world, and as much as we talk about emotional quotient, we also have to talk about digital quotient. So definitely I have my digital existence and presence. So as a company, our company is EcoCycle Limited, focusing on sewage to water recycling, and you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram at EcoCycle Limited. As a person, I am just Engineer Lucy Wanjiku Mutinda all across Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Not so good on Instagram or TikTok, but I think I'll get there. Thank you.
Do you have any feedback on today's topic? We've been honored to have a very wonderful guest, Engineer Lucy Wanjiku Mutinda, who is a mechanical engineer but also the founder of EcoCycle Limited. Do you have any feedback? Do you have any comment? Do you have any questions possibly? Do you want to do follow-up? You know where to find us. Go to Facebook, go to Twitter at KTN Home, at Queenie Saina on Twitter, and at Queenie Mbori on Facebook and Instagram. It's been amazing having you, and we hope to find you right there next time. Till next time, thank you for watching. Woman of the Week is Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan. Honorable Samia Suluhu Hassan made history on Friday, 19th March 2021, when she was sworn in as Tanzania's first female president.
Mimi Samia Suluhu Hassan.
She is serving as the 6th and the current president of the United Republic of Tanzania. Honorable Samia Suluhu is a soft-spoken leader thrust from the obscure role of vice president to become Tanzania's first female leader after the sudden death of the former president, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. Suluhu first joined active politics in 2000 when she was elected as a member of the Zanzibar House of Representatives for a special seat. She was again elected to the National Assembly in a landslide win in 2010 as the Member of Parliament representing Makunduchi constituency, marking her entry into national electoral politics. In 2014, former President Jakaya Kikwete appointed her Minister of State in the Vice President's Office for Union Affairs. She was elected the Vice Chairperson for the Constitutional Assembly in the same year, the body tasked with drafting the country's new constitution. In July 2015, the presidential candidate of the ruling Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM party, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, chose her as his running mate ahead of the country's 2015 general elections. The Magufuli-Suluhu ticket won the election, making her the first female vice president in the region since Uganda's Specioza Naigaga Wandira, who was in the same office from 1994 to 2003. Honorable Hassan has spoken publicly to encourage Tanzanian women and girls to pursue their dreams. She would be the only other current serving female head of state in Africa, alongside Ethiopia's President Sahle-Work Zewde. She will be the East African's first female president, joining a thin list of women in the continent doing the top job.